friends, welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. I'm Jen, and today we're going to be in the kitchen a little bit doing some baking. My husband and I are hosting a Bible study tonight in our home, and I want to have some dessert to go along with the coffee that we'll be serving. So I'm thinking that I want to make some cookies and possibly some sort of cake. I haven't decided on the cake yet, but as for the cookies, we have been making these amazing oatmeal chocolate chip cookies in our home for the last couple of weeks. It's a recipe from our church cookbook that was released earlier this year. And I had all the ingredients sitting out on the counter one night. I wanted to make the cookies, and my daughter Ella said, "Hey, I'll make the cookies." And she made them. They were absolutely delicious. So I don't know if it's because she had her hands in it or if it's a really good recipe, but I've never made it. So if they're a flop, and I will just have Ella make them from now on. So we're gonna give them a try. And then I'd like to have some sort of cake. I'm thinking like a coffee cake, maybe like a fallish coffee cake. So stay tuned, let's get in the kitchen and bake something together. First thing we're gonna do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Now, I've been outside working a little bit, so I got hot and sweaty, had to come inside, change clothes, and I felt like my hair was just falling everywhere, all over my projects. I don't know if it was the wind blowing it or what, but I wanted to make sure I didn't get any hair in these cookies, because you know that would not be appealing to our guests. So my hair is all up. It might look messy, but it's better up than in the cookie batter, right? All right, first step is to, of course, preheat our oven, which we did. We're gonna mix our flour, salt, and baking soda. I'm going to mix together 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, which I have here, and then we've got a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm gonna use my KitchenAid mixer to help me today, and so I'll bring you over here and we'll get everything mixed together. All right, so first up, 1.5 cups all-purpose flour, and see if I have a 1/2 cup measure. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and just use a 1/2 cup so we can make sure we have accurate measurements, which y'all know is very important when you are baking. All right, so that's 1.5 cups there. Now we're going in with that teaspoon of salt and baking soda. Give this a quick mix. All right, y'all, I had a phone call and got distracted, so I pulled those dry ingredients back out of there because I meant to mix those in a bowl separately. We don't want to add those in quite yet. So we're going to get 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks here. And then we're going to blend this with our sugars first. We have 3/4 cup of white sugar and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Now let's blend these together. I need to get one of those attachments that scrape the side, like the paddle that scrapes the side. So I'm just stopping it to get my sides scraped here. Next, I'm gonna get 2 eggs cracked here. These are our farm fresh eggs. And lately I've been getting shells in there, but I do have that trick where you get the shell out of your egg using the eggshell. I don't know if y'all have tried that, but it works as a magnet and it's really cool how it will attract that shell out of there. All right, one more. And another one. Oh, 2 for 2. Next, I'm gonna add in a teaspoon of vanilla. Looks about right. And we're gonna give this a mix. Now we're going to add these dry ingredients back into our bowl. Next, we're going to add in 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and then we're going to go in with 2 cups of uncooked oatmeal. And this is the 4th scoop, so give me just a minute. Going to take a second to scrape my paddle, And then you could chill these for a few minutes if you wanted to while you clean the kitchen up. I may do that. Don't think Ella did that, and the recipe does not call for it. So I will leave that up to you. All right, the next step is to get these on the cookie sheet, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm just going to use, I think this is like a teaspoon scoop here. It said to drop by the drop by the teaspoonfuls, there we go, onto a greased cookie sheet. But I'm got mine lined with parchment paper here. And I know these spread a little bit, so I'm gonna give them some room here. Okay, so this is my first time making them. I'm gonna do a trial run on these, see if they're spaced out enough, if that's a good size for them. The oven's already preheated to 350 degrees. I'm gonna let these bake for about 10 minutes and then we'll check them. So I did leave these in for a couple of extra minutes. You see that they got brown around the edges, but these don't look anything like the ones Ella made. I think hers were a lot thicker. So I'm going to use the larger scoop, maybe chill my dough a little bit more and see if that will help. Okay, so let's try these and see if they're any different. Alex just came by and said he prefers them like this. He doesn't like it when cookies are thick. So we'll have some for each preference, but I definitely want to see if we can get these like the ones that we've been making in the past month. I didn't tell y'all this. It occurred to me as these were baking. Make sure you have butter that has come to room temperature or has like softened on your countertop. That would be a whole lot easier to mix, and I forgot to tell y'all that step. All right, so for 12 minutes, I think these look a whole lot better. And they're not as big or as thick as the Chick-fil-A cookies, but they taste the same to me. Maybe even a little bit better. So if you're looking for something close to the Chick-fil-A chocolate chip cookie, I believe this is it. Y'all, well, while the cookies were baking, I found our cake out of this recipe book, the Gooseberry Patch, one of my favorites, and it's been sitting over on our display being part of our fall decor. But inside of it, there are a ton of wonderful fall recipes, and this is just one of many that I'm sure we'll be making this year. Grandma Kay's coffee cake. So we have all the ingredients again, except for it calls for a cup of sour cream. I only had half a cup, but I did have some Greek yogurt here. So that's what I'm gonna use for that other half a cup. I think it'll work out just fine. And then we make a topping that's gonna go on top of it. So I'm excited to try this out and we get to learn together. All right, first thing I did was grease a 9 by 13 baking dish. This is what our coffee cake is gonna go into. And I let some butter soften and come to room temperature. So that's where we're gonna start first. You need a half cup of butter that has been softened. That's 1 stick for us. The KitchenAid mixer, so I'm gonna go ahead and get everything into this bowl. We need a cup, is that right? Let's see, hang on, yes. A cup of sugar, this is a half a cup scoop. So 1, 2, next, we're gonna need another teaspoon of vanilla. Well, I say another, but teaspoon of vanilla. This is the first one going in here. Y'all know how we measure our vanilla. Oh, that was way more than a teaspoon. It'll be okay though. This is our homemade vanilla. It's still coming out. Goodness gracious. You know, that's how they used to, you know, they used it for fragrance back in the day. I'll just rub the extra that got on my hands on myself. Now I smell really good. All right, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I already got measured out here. That's our first 4 ingredients, and it says to blend the first 4 in your mixing bowl. Get that going over here, and we should probably plug it up first. Next, we're gonna add 2 eggs. Get those cracked in this bowl. Oh, good, no shells that time. There's 1. All right, 2 for 2. We're gonna add in our half cup sour cream, half cup Greek yogurt, or you could do full sour cream. And this is where I wish I had the tilt head stand mixer, which I don't. I have the older one, but we just do what we can, use what we have. And I'm gonna keep using this one till it stops working probably, so that might be many, many years. I don't know, maybe one day I'll break down and get me a new and improved version. Next, I'm gonna mix in 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. All right, let's get that mixed together. All right, now we've got our batter together. I'm gonna set this to the side because I want to go ahead and get our topping mixed together. Now, our topping is just 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1/4 cup of chopped nuts. I happen to have walnuts on hand. Chopped pecans probably would have been really good, or a mixture of both would be nice. And then 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. So I'm gonna take a second to get this mixed together. And what we're gonna do is we are going to put half of our batter into our 13 by 9 dish. We're gonna sprinkle in half of the topping, add the remaining batter, and then the rest of the topping will go over the top. All right, so half the batter going in first. And now I'm just gonna take half of the topping. Really, there aren't a lot of nuts in this. 1/4 cup to me is a small amount, especially when you are reserving part of it. I would like to get those kind of like mixed throughout the cake. And what this is probably gonna do is just swirl that topping into the cake. There's really no way to avoid that because the batter is so thin. So I actually think I like that idea, which is probably what the recipe intends to happen. Oh, that looks so good. It smells amazing. Ooh. This is going into a preheated 325-degree oven for 30 minutes. All right, guys, well, the cake is out, the cookies have cooled. I am going to tidy up the house, get it ready for our guests coming tonight. When I do cut into the coffee cake, I'll be sure to get some video footage of that so you can see what the inside looks like, but I don't want to cut it until I serve it later. So you'll just have to wait for that. Maybe I'll put that at the end of the video. All right, well, I'm gonna go get cleaned up, get the rest of the things done that I need to do today. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that both of those recipes will be ones that you will try, and maybe they will come in handy at your fall gatherings this year, or maybe even for bake sales. Those cookies would be great for a bake sale. All right, well, until next time, remember to live simply, use what you have, enjoy the moments you've been given, and I will see you all back here next time.